Beni uğraş şerefsizler, siz ikinizsiniz değil mi lan? Bu kadar dar alanda da böyle tırmanmak ne bileyim saçma geliyor ya. Gelin la buraya. Dalton musunuz her ne boktan?
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. It turned out that they had me.
Take him out!
Belliydi zaten.
I'm sending you to hell!
Belliydi zaten. Yeminle aklıma geldi var ya, yeminle bak böyle
Daltons had played me like a
After
fiddle.
all this,
Apparently the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a fight.
About that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're
well,
talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed dead. I don't think it'll even float.
so anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off, Mr. Green?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all. Weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together.
Bayağı iyi, bayağı güzel.
Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Şu daha şey gibi duruyor ondan, daha tehlikeli gibi duruyor.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day.
Diyorsun.
And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Yapacak bir şey yok, onlar da kendisi kaşındı birader. Değil mi? Beni alakadar etmez.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
Agam be. The Wild Bunch mı? Episode 7. Juarez. 1868. Son göreve mi geldim lan?
It was 1868. Me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them.
Agam be.
Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Agam be, yak be. Yolunda gitmeyen tren soygunu ha. En ünlü Aydu çetesiydi. Bir dakika arkadaşlar, çok farklı bekleteceğim sizi. Tamam. Çifteliler ve öldürmelidir. Tamam. Şimdi.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn
Birkaç aydır
Mountains.
peşindeydim. Oğlum
Led
benim
by
altın
Butch
çiftten
Cassidy.
nereye gitti ya?
They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking,
Güzel.
Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself.
Alıyorum hocam.
I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer.
Şimdi seviye 13, 114.000 puandayız şu an. Yakın düşmanlar ifade etsin. Nişan almam birkaç şey olduktan sonra bunu ver. Tamam. Başarım açtım şu an. Oha, direkt şeyi açtım lan. Altın tüfeği açtım lan direkt. Wow.
I figured the Wild
Oha.
Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right.
Soygun oluyor.
They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to
Şimdi
stop.
bunun için köprüyü patlattılar. Köprünün tepesine ulaş.
Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Ya yıkılıyor. Ya yıkılıyor, kaç. Düştüm ya. Şimdi ben nereden gideceğim? Buradan mı oradan mı? Oradan. Bu ne?
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
Anlıyorum hocam.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Köprünün tepesine ulaş. Tepesindeyim oğlum zaten. Ha, gitmem gereken yer orası, anladım.
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day. As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights, but I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway, so I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
You just met your match.
Nereye gideceğiz buradan?
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Kırıntıyı da alayım gelmişken. Nereden gidiyoruz lan? O. Bul, okey.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a
You
hand.
mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Lan ne dört nala yardıma gelmesi abi. Sen niye okudun her şeyin önünde? Adamlar beni tuzağa düşürüyor anasını satayım. Diyor ki bir kere sandım ki. Anlıyorum hocam. Hepsi de benim düşmanım oğlum bunların.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that?
Bilmiyorum böyle yapacağım.
Retreat! He's killing everybody!
Bizim böyle yapacağım. Milleti kandırırsınız. Gelin mi?
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they?
Wild Bunch'ın peşine düşeni.
Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Oğlum onlar kim lan?
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
Ya sıktım. Yemin ederim bu oyun bozuk.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch
Bu
behind
sefer sıktım.
and decamp
Artık
for
yeter.
South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Tamam. Anlıyorum. Bir buçuk cehennem treni. Bu görev neymiş lan?
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
Bir tane şey açılmış. Evet, bunu açamazsam bunu açamam. Başka bir çarem yok. görevi bir an önce
That kid
bitirmek
Curry's
istiyorum
kinda
artık
crazy.
yani.
Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
Who's shooting at you?
Bu yapacaklar kalabalık çıktı ya.
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
O neymiş ya öyle? La oğlum. La daha kim var?
It's you or me.
Oğlum götünü bacağını görüyorum ama adam ölmüyor ya.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
Şu çete kampının nerede olduğuna dair bir ipucu bul. Tamam. Baş kesildi anladım. Bunlar hepsi bu arada gerçek şeyler büyük ihtimalle. Gerçek olaylar. Çete kampının tamam.
And
Patika.
I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked.
İnşallah bu doğru
This
plandır.
time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
Birleşmiş var. O neymiş ya?
The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
Ertesi sabah paraşütün dişi mi? Çetenin köprüyü
Kid
yerle
Curry was
bırakmasına
considered the
engel ol.
wildest of the wild bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children,
Oha!
though some say it was only 5.
Oha! Reis sendeki taşakla taşak
Kid Curry
değilmiş
had
ha.
bragged to a whore how he was going to rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me. Of course, I had to tread carefully. Otherwise, I could, well, die.
Yavrum bak. Onu keşke şeyden önce, düşmeden önce anlatsaydım be kral. Ben ne bileyim dümdüz koşunca koşarım diye tahmin ediyordum.
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Amanın çok korktum.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
But the wild bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off.
Oğlum ben buradan nereye kaçacağım? He? Buradan aşağı inemem. Buradan en fazla nereye gidebilirim? Ha buraya. Doğru, mantıklı.
It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. There's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
You'll die for this, you hear me?
Sen nasıl anlıyorsun lan?
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
Ya oğlum nasıl bir oyun ya? Sıfır gerçekçilik anasını satayım. Gözümün önüne yollar falan geliyor böyle.
You're really pissing me off.
Gözümün önüne yollar falan geliyor böyle. Ne değişik bir oyun oğlum bu. Kim var la başka sıkan? Çok adam var da. Ölmüş adamı yaşıyor sandım ya bir de. Sana inah lan.
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
You ain't killing me.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
Oğlum kim bu bana sıkan ya? Reis seni görebilsem.
Give it up now, and I'll let you go.
Oğlum bir bilinmezden mermi yiyorum ama.
Get out here.
Oğlum kimden mermi yiyip duruyorum? Ananı sabahtan beri vurup duruyor ya. Hayır, görebilsem zaten vuracağım herifi. Çıkarak gönderin.
You ain't killing me.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear. Proceeded onward. I realized that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Alternatif bir yola ihtiyacım vardı.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I hope you understand how badly my adventure might have ended had I not been as careful as hell.
Bize taktik veriyor arada. Sanki çok kolaymış gibi.
I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today.
Hallettim.
Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass, as I was not a young man anymore.
Kill that enemy. Make him bleed. Send him to perdition.
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely, they found me.
Racer and Kid Curry asked me.
O neymiş ya?
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
O reis. Aman reis. Kid Curry değil mi bu herif? Bilmiyorum. O şekilde yazıyor oyunda. O neymiş ya? Dur.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Are you kidding me? Time for you to lay down and die. You can't hide forever.
Benden kaçabilecek kadar yeter oğlum.
You can't beat me. Hold him off while I reload.
Şerefsiz ne tutuyor ya? O ne ya? O zaman benim orada dinamitle patlatmam lazım. Anladım. Dinamiti buradayken toplayacağım.
Show yourself,
Oraya
you
gitmeden.
coward. Do you know who I am?
Bak.
Am I out of bullets already? It's not fair.
Onu da yapmamışım olarak saydı tabi.
Damn! God damn it, I need some help here. Come on, boys.
Oy. Bunu uzaktan dinamitle mi halledeceğiz?
Come out, you yellow bastard. Stand still so I can kill you. Yeah!
O neymiş?
God damn it, I need some help here. Come on, boys. Take this sucker down.
Yavrum ben kimden demişiyorum ya?
Leave it to me. Get out of here, you coward. Damn. Time for you to lay down and die, bastard. Give me a hand here, goddammit.
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Nasıl ölmedi oğlum, öldü ya orada ya. Adamla trade attık. Nasıl olabilir bu? 0.3 saniyeyle adamla trade attık, anasını satayım ya. Nereye gideceğim? Allah'ını seven nereye gideceğim?
Fast as he was,
Okay.
I was just a bit faster.
Vallahi var ya.
And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Aslan
He
parçası.
shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
La oğlum kaçtım ya sağıma. Oğlum sağıma kaçtım ya, ondan nasıl kaçacağım? O benim soluma ateş etmiyor ki oğlum.
He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Değişik.
Those were his last words.
Enter. Bunu da yaptım. Bayağı yaptım yani. Ben bu oyunu bugün bitiririm bu arada ya. Bilmem biter mi bitmez mi de büyük ihtimal biter.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in